So do you want to start off with a little bit of intro of, who you are, what you do?
Okay, so I am Claire Kershaw. I'm Health and Wellbeing Manager, and I like to think I look after all things wellbeing at Next.
So how did you get to that? Have you always done everything wellbeing and healthcare and things like that, or?
Well, I mean, when I started, I've been at Next for 27 years in January, so quite a long time. But
wow,
in the last
that's a good achievement, though.
Well, yeah, 27. I can't believe where they've gone. But for the last 15, I've been working in health and safety.
Okay.
And obviously, when I joined the team, it was very top-heavy safety with a little bit of health. And I think over the years, what's happened is the health part of that has kind of grown. So we always did stuff to do with health, but kind of maybe not the intensity that we do now. And I think in the last 5 years, kind of health has turned into a massive big wellbeing. And as you know, it's kind of, part of the everyday now. So the last 5 years have really kind of been the key movement forward in wellbeing.
And that's where you kind of saw that, is that kind of the moment you kind of saw, actually wellbeing's becoming not a trend, but more of a priority in every business and also Next.
Yeah, definitely. I think that we always did a bit of health within the team, but it was kind of a bit sporadic with not really very much strategy about it. It was just sort of a bit scattergun. And I think over the last 5 years, we've kind of made it more of it's been more formalised. And so we've had a strategy. Everyone outside of Next and other companies are all talking about it. And we were like, this is the moment we kind of need to do something. So that's exactly what we did. So we started 2018, so 5 years ago, and we launched the Wellbeing Charter and the mental health policy, and everything else then sort of naturally hangs onto that as a really effective framework. So all the support we now do falls under that kind of framework. So,
that's kind of like your North Star. That's kind of what you keep bringing things back to then, is it?
Yes, yeah. That's kind of the coat hanger of all things wellbeing.
Nice segue with fashion there.
Yes, absolutely. That. Yeah. And then obviously, as you know, we worked on COVID times. We worked on a more effective way of communicating all of the amazing wellbeing stuff that we do by introducing the first Google site. Wellbeing was the first one, was it?
I believe it was. Yeah, other than a temporary COVID site. Yeah, I think Wellbeing was the first one that's still there as well, the wellbeing.go.next site.
It's growing.
All employees used and across the whole business,
Yeah, just easy access to all things wellbeing. So
Yeah, I think that definitely was, that must have been a big moment. But what was the first thing when you were like, oh, actually we're doing more? What kind of started it? Was it just a small thing, or was it a big thing, or did we start with a bang, or did we actually do little things in wellbeing and then grow it?
Yeah, well, I think we the charter and the policy were kind of the first thing. Then we introduced our mental health first aiders, so we did all the training for the mental health first aiders. So we have over 100 now across the whole business.
All business areas.
All business areas. Yeah, and obviously they're there to support their colleagues kind of during sort of working hours. And we also trained all of the managers. So I think if it didn't land with kind of the senior levels or the kind of whole wellbeing thing, it was never going to work. So that's why we trained kind of quite senior levels first. And then we trained kind of all the managers kind of through across the business. So hopefully if they're on board, then kind of it all happens. So that was the big moment, because I think wellbeing's kind of, it's not, you never tick a box with wellbeing and go, we've achieved it. I think you're always having to
totally agree.
Adding on, do more and more and more. But I think once the managers are on board, kind of there's a culture shift, and that's what is important.
So you're kind of trying to tackle it in a way by where the business is pushing things out and we're doing stuff to, promote or educate people on the importance of wellbeing, but also get the managers doing that at the same time.
Absolutely. Because all the support's there, but actually you need to be supported by your manager, and they need to understand 100%. The whole wellbeing piece as well. And our main aim, I suppose, is to make sure that people are supporting their roles, but they know how and when to get support, and that's kind of what we kind of work on all the time. And you're the comms team, about pushing messages out, but it is just constantly reminding people of what's there for them. So. And
the term wellbeing, what does that actually cover? Is it just like we're just going to do a bit of free fruit, or is it what? Yeah, I mean, I guess that's how it. I remember back in the day, that's one of the things that started, but it's a lot more than that, right?
Yeah, I think back in the day, so we're talking 5 years ago.
Yeah.
If you did free fruit, you were like, you'd tick the box of wellbeing, and that's like just so. That was literally just a drop in the ocean. Doing fruit is great, and we still do fruit now.
Yeah.
But that's kind of when you're in a crisis situation, a pear or an apple's not going to do it. It's got to be bigger and more than that. So yeah, really good starting point for companies. But it's about giving people the support for whatever challenges life throws at them.
Yeah.
So we've got the employee assistance program if people need sort of counselling support. We've got pregnancy loss if people are having that kind of experience in their life. Things to help people financially. Digital GP services, menopause support. So it's just whatever's going on in people's lives. We think we've got it covered.
Well, there's a lot. I guess there's a lot to cover, and there's a lot of different people with different parts of their life, isn't there, as well?
Yeah,
so it's kind of trying to think, right, what would that person need support with? So quite a big job to do there.
Well,
consider,
to cover everything. Somebody that something that a young person might be struggling with is very different to maybe somebody, sort of a later stage in life where maybe they become a carer and that kind of thing. We need to support anything that might go on in someone's life, really. So it's just a whole range of services.
And what are some of the key things that we've launched that you're really proud of as well, would you say, along that way? I guess it just didn't all come at once, did it?
No, I mean we started small. So obviously, most companies have an employee assistance program, and we that was a really good starting point. But then we kind of got a little bit like, actually, people are really embracing this, and we need to add more and more and more. And then things become topical as well. Outside of Next. So menopause is a massive one. I'm going to talk about menopause.
Yeah, go
just
for it.
Because it's something that I'm really, really proud of.
Yeah.
Menopause was something that people didn't speak about,
generally, or
generally,
yeah.
And people didn't really speak about it. But obviously, a lot of women and men and families are affected by menopause. So we sort of got our HR teams trained in menopause, and we got them kind of on board with kind of some of the issues that might come around to do with menopause. We trained some menopause advocates. We started promoting menopause, and actually we couldn't believe how much people wanted to know about it and how much people did want to talk about it. So we have really, really grown what we do in terms of menopause. So we offer menopause support. We also work with a company called Gen M, who help us to kind of sort of promote menopause, and they kind of wanted us to push it sort of a little wider than just internally. So that's kind of something we're working on commercially as well. Yeah. But we won a menopause award this year, nice. Which I'm going to shout out about.
Yeah, do it.
For driving menopause forward in the workplace. So we have chat groups for kind of people who want to find out more about menopause, and it's just such a great chat group to read, because you can see that people are supporting each other. They're making recommendations. That have you tried this? Have you tried this? And just really sort of encouraging people to read this article, hear this podcast, whatever. But it's just really, really positive that women and men are supporting each other.
And that's peer-to-peer chats, is it? Is that just people literally going, look, I feel like this, or has anyone got any advice for this, or what kind of is that the kind of thing that kind of people are sharing?
So somebody will put something in the chat. When we started the chat, I started the chats off in all divisions, and I put the first kind of don't forget to check out all the amazing support we've got at wellbeing.go.next, and I thought what would happen is I'd get people kind of asking questions, and I'd have to go on and just answer all the questions. I literally don't get time to answer the questions because everyone else has always answered before me, because these are women that kind of have been through the experience, so they're answering the questions on my behalf. I don't need to answer a question. And the funniest one I think was on Yapster, the platform that they use in the warehouse. They auto-enroll everybody into the menopause chat. And a gentleman had put a comment on saying, I don't understand why I've been enrolled in this chat, how am I involved in menopause? And another man had then put, let me tell you, you need to know about menopause. I've been going through this with my wife for so long. So, that came better from someone like that than me actually saying, we've enrolled you for this reason. It's just been really good. So I'm really passionate about what we do for menopause and supporting women in the workplace.
And just picking up on that, like you've said there, when you say menopause affects everyone, in what way? In what way
so
does
obviously
it?
not necessarily the physical symptoms of menopause, but everyone's got a mum, an auntie, a sister, a grandma that will have experienced it. So actually, you know, families are impacted.
Yeah.
Relationships are affected. So that's why it kind of affects everyone, not just women of, you know, an average age of 51.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's nice that it's created almost like a sub community, hasn't it?
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
just able to go, right, we'll facilitate.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can all do that, and we'll interject with, you know, when there's something big that's progressing, whether it's the awards or a new collaboration or something like that. And
I chip in and let them know what's new, what's coming. But we've also launched the menopause support sessions as well this year. So that's up to 6 free sessions with a menopause specialist, which is amazing. I mean, GPs generally don't have sort of specific training in menopause, so actually to speak to someone that kind of gets it and kind of knows is amazing for
that's really good. And that's for all employees.
All employees.
Oh wow,
all employees.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So menopause is obviously something you're really proud of, passionate about.
Have I gone too much
No. I like it. I like it. I think that's one thing I like about Next, that people really carve out their passions as well. It feels like you've done that definitely with wellbeing, definitely over the years.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in particular that we've developed over the years that you're also proud of in terms of wellbeing?
I mean, the wellbeing site is, you know, I mean, I know we worked together on that at the in COVID times where we really needed to make it easy for people to get support. And obviously the Wellbeing site is an external facing site, so everyone can access it, whether you work, you know, part-time in a retail store or you're on the production line at the warehouse, everyone can access that site. So I'm super proud of what we've achieved. And, you know, I know we worked together on that, and it started very small, and we've added it and, you know, grown the site. And it covers so much now, not just information and support when you're in a crisis, but it's also, we've put stuff on there that helps you to just live a happier and healthier life. So there's things like, you know, self-care and 10 keys of happier living. So things that you can kind of just go, actually, maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll, you know, give that a go, just to kind of mix things up and do things a little bit differently, so that maybe you can kind of be more happy and healthy. So I'm proud of the fact that we've kind of grown that and made it more of a wellbeing site rather than oh my gosh, I need help now, and go to the site for that. So
and I guess some of it in a way then would help as well with, it's kind of got a prevention before you get to the crisis point as well, maybe.
Absolutely. I mean, we don't really want people to just go onto the site just when they need help. We want people to kind of, you know, maintain their mental health so they don't get into the point of crisis. You know, we want people to kind of, you know, be in control of it by you know, managing their own well-being. I mean, one of the things on the site that we do have is we have an app called Thrive, which is an app that allows people to kind of manage their mental health. It's got kind of relaxation, meditation, things to help you sleep. It's not something you need in a crisis. It's just something that you can use on a day-to-day basis just to kind of keep yourself in a good place. Yeah. So it's that kind of thing that's really
and have we
really
teamed up with Thrive on that, or is it a part of another collaboration, or where did that come from?
So we get that through Aviva. They provide quite a lot of services for us, and that's part of what we get. But it's a great app. It's free to download to obviously all Next employees, but it's just one of those things that just helps people to kind of keep in balance, and that's important.
Yeah, whether you want, you know, that little bit of time to understand how to get better sleep, because I know as well, like, sleep's so important, whether you're recovering from exercise, or you know, you just generally, or you're a new parent, or whatever it might be, you've got to get that sleep, and otherwise it's going to affect loads of different things as well.
Everything else is just in chaos if you don't get your good night's sleep. Your good night's sleep.
I don't know what it is. Is it like, did I say 7 hours now, or is it still 8?
I think it's supposed to be 8 hours. I think it's supposed to be 8 hours. No. And it's amazing how many people don't get good sleep. But there's tips on the site about how to get a good night's sleep, you know, things you should and shouldn't do before you go to bed, you know, the kind of environment in your room and that sort of thing. There's just loads of tips generally on how to have a good night's sleep.
I think my recent tip, which I've started doing, is getting a bit more of a routine. So like whether it's a shower or a proper like cleanse of everything.
Yeah.
Then it's like preparing myself, because I think sometimes before I used to be like go, jump in bed.
And expect to just
and then you expect
relax.
to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
kind
you
of
just,
the unwinding
like,
process, isn't it?
Yeah, lying there like, why
Yeah.
am I not asleep? But
Yeah.
now that's definitely helped. So I bet there's loads of tips like that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that people do, I think probably we're all guilty of it. You have your phone by your bed.
Oh, yeah.
You have your iPad by your bed, and you kind of,
I'll
looking at tech before you go to bed. That's that's not great. I think a lot of people are guilty of that.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Including
Same,
myself. Oh,
same.
who's that?
Yeah, same, exactly. Oh, I'll just check what's been going on in the world, and having a look. Yeah.
Somebody said something to me the other day, which I thought was really interesting, about how tech has kind of taken over, as being in the moment. So, you go to have a look at the time on your phone.
True.
And you look at the time on your phone, but you don't, because you see a message. So you then read the message, and then you put it down, and you think, oh my God, I didn't even check the time, because we're so distracted by messages coming through, we actually forget what we're doing. And I think one of the real big things about wellbeing is actually being in the moment and thinking about what you're doing. But we are so distracted by that kind of stuff, aren't we? The input messages that come in, and I'm very conscious I do that.
No, I agree. I think, being in the moment is a massive thing. Like, whether you're, even if you're having conversations and stuff, it's like, I'll make a conscious effort now to like put my phone down, put it to a side and stuff. So you are focusing and you are listening. Yeah. Because if it's there and it pings, your eyes wander, don't they? Yeah. And it's not right. You're missing out on so much stuff as well.
I think so. I think... I went to a concert last year, and I sat there and I just thought there were so many people at the concert. Yeah, absolutely. On their phone, just recording it to put on Instagram or whatever. And I was like, why don't you just be in the moment? Yeah. Why don't you just enjoy it? And when you watch things of old, so the first time Oasis performed at the big open air concert, I can't remember it. Nebworth. They did Nebworth. Yeah. At that time, they never had any mobile phones, and when you watch the footage of that, everyone just stood there watching, and they were all in the moment. They were all just taking it in and enjoying it. And it was a documentary I watched, and they actually said, back in the day, this is how it was, but it's not like that now. And I just think it's such a shame that we do let things like phones and tech take us over.
There's absolutely a place for them, and like, to get onto the wellbeing site, obviously, big shout out to that. You need a phone, but I know what you're saying. It's if you're in that moment, or you're having a moment of, or an experience, whether it's a one-to-one or in a concert, then just think about giving yourself time to actually experience it, rather than being like, this has got to go all on social media. Yeah,
just enjoy it for the moment. And your memories are here, aren't they? You remember things in your head.
Yeah, definitely. Where's this kind of passion from you come from in terms of wellbeing? And is it grown, or is it always been there, or what drives you to do it?
I'd like to think I've always been a healthy person myself. I also think if anything ever happened to me and people were to say something about me as a person, I would like to think that they thought that I was a really kind person and a thoughtful person. And I think kindness is a real important thing in the whole well-being. Being kind to other people. And I think helping people is something I really like doing. So I don't know, it all kind of falls in place. I'm a very active person. I play tennis on a regular basis. I'm a very healthy person. Nice. I go to the gym. And all of those things kind of make me passionate about kind of everything falls into place, and the healthy eating and all that sort of thing. I'm very sort of focused on all of that kind of stuff. So
that ties into it as well, then, the health side as well. So you've got your health, your passion of wanting to be kind and help people as well. But so with the wellbeing things, what do we cover from a health point? Like, what kind of things do we do from a health point of view? Do we do anything, or do we just still do the free fruit?
Just the free fruit, no. That's the starting point.
That's the starting point.
But we do digital GP appointments, so you can so obviously to help your health, if you had any problems. But one of the things that we launched this year, which is amazing, is health checks for all employees. So you don't have to be a particular grade. You don't have to have, extra privileges. Every employee is entitled to a free health check every year. which is
up.
amazing. Which
like you would your car.
Yeah. And you, of course, you get the people that, you know, kind of are super, super healthy, and they go, yeah, I'll do it. And it's like, oh, I just want to tick how, you know, check how amazing I am at health. And oh, yes, I'm actually really healthy. But actually what we want people to do is people that maybe wouldn't normally do that is to go and check how they are. Because, you know, we have had people find things, you know, early detection of problems and diseases, ailments that they didn't know they had. And that's really important. You know, being able to find out, you know, what might be there to be able to tackle these things early. So free health check for everyone is just fantastic.
That is that the thing that was on the app, the
DigiCare Plus Workplace.
Plus, that's the one where
it is.
Yeah, because I did that, and I actually did it, and you do the finger prick,
the blood, take
test.
the blood sample,
First time, first finger would not do it.
No
blood
at all.
Come on. The second finger, it was like, right, here we go. But that, it was actually really good in terms of, I thought I'd just get like, oh yeah, you're fine. But you get a proper report, like a whole report, on everything, like, this is moderate, this is good, this is normal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bit low here, bit high here.
Yeah, and what it looks for 20 key health markers, so 20 different things. And then what you can do is set up an appointment with the GP to review the report. So if you, if you thought, that's a little bit worrying. You can speak to the GP and find out, you know, why that's worrying, what you need to do about it, how you can control it, that sort of thing. So it's a really good education speaking to the GP and just really sort of, you know, drilling down into what you can do to kind of be more healthy.
Yeah, that's really good, because I remember when you introduced, because this is kind of a move on, because everyone's got access to this whenever they want it, because I think convenience is a massive important thing in society now. Like, someone can just do that at home, send it off, job done. But I remember when there was the what was it, the health check machines,
lifestyle checkpoint machines. That was probably about 7 or 8 years ago.
I remember those, and I remember that story you told. What was it, the guy did it, and
in our call centre,
and he found out like he got high blood pressure or something, and
he just happened to walk by the machine and he saw a queue. So it was the Doncaster call centre, and he walked by the machine and there was a queue, and he was like, "Oh, what they're all queuing for? Not something I fancy doing." I thought it was free food or something. He's very open to say that he, you know, likes a bacon sandwich or whatever. But anyway, he went back later on and obviously realised it was the lifestyle checkpoint machine. Had a go on it. Did his blood pressure. His blood pressure was literally sky high. So he was, that's a bit strange. Went to speak to his manager and she said, "I think you need to go back again later on." So I think the idea is that you're supposed to do it 3 times within a period of time. And if it's high over the 3 times, then obviously it's a problem. So he did it 3 times, and it was really high. And his manager said to him, "That's not right. You know, you really need to speak to your doctor." And he was like, "Oh, I'm not sure." So the next day she bought a portable checker in, and he checked it throughout the day. And she was like, "You know, you're really worried."
What the manager did?
The manager did.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, eventually he went to the doctors, and he walked in. The doctor's like, "I literally don't know how you've even walked in here. You're a heart attack waiting to happen." And he'd got they immediately looked at his diet, his lifestyle, put him on tablets for high blood pressure, and he still works at the call centre. And he was super happy to tell his story, so I'm only talking about things that he was happy to share anyway. We did a story on him. And he sent me such a lovely email to say, on behalf of me and my family, you've saved our life, because he said if it wasn't for that machine, he wouldn't actually be here today. So it's those kind of things that maybe go a little bit cold.
Yeah. And they're great, aren't they? When you get those little nuggets, and it's kind of just reinforces what you do. Again.
Yes, and there's times in every job where you think, God, this is really hot going sometimes. But there's things like that, and I just think, wow, that is why I do the job that I do. That is why, I come to work every day, because it's making a difference, and that's really important. If you can feel you're making a difference, surely that's what it's all about. Yeah,
definitely. And what kind of things are you looking? Anything you can say or share in the future as well? Where do you think wellbeing's going to go? Like
bigger and bigger and bigger, bigger and bigger and bigger. And like I said to you, it's a journey. I don't think you can ever say, we've got wellbeing covered and put a tick. I mean, one of the objectives for my department for next is to, educate people and grow wellbeing. It's like, well, that's like a forever objective, isn't it? I'm never going to achieve that, am I?
No.
It's just going to go on and on and on. And I think that it's grown massively over the 5 years, but I think everyone's kind of getting on board, and it's like part of the everyday now, because I think wellbeing is a culture thing, isn't it? It's you need everyone to be on board with it, and I think it's just gone crazy. I mean, I'm doing loads of sort of team away days, team events, talking to teams, which, I mean, managers kind of never really sort of even thought about doing that before, whereas now it's like part of the away day, part of the team event. We want to talk wellbeing, want to tell everyone about the services, and it's like it's really kind of I mean,
and that's coming from like, is that coming from like department directors or anything asking you to come along and say, talk to my teams about this? Yeah. I think that kind of the doors open, and I'm kind of just sort of thinking, I can do this. So they're asking me, but I'm pushing the agenda as well. I think a lot of us are. And I think it's really good that it's now kind of, it's like, I mean, the call centres, for example, are amazing. Every team event they do, I've done it for the last how many years, I always get a slot. Sometimes it's a bigger slot, sometimes it's a smaller slot, but there's always a slot to talk about wellbeing, and that's just amazing, because, everyone gets so many emails, everyone gets drowned by, kind of information that they've got to deal with for their day-to-day job. Yeah. So sometimes people miss things about what's there for them. But I suppose like team events and away days, when you've got people, in the moment, you can actually tell them face to face what's there and how we can help them. And I think that's when you get people, when they're actually in front of you and they go, wow, I didn't realise that you did digital GP service. I didn't realise I can get help if if I've lost a family member, because we do bereavement support as well, which is fantastic. So it's about getting in front of people that is really good. And are you seeing now as well, like you said there, around it's becoming part of the next culture more, which I totally agree with as well. It's not like an optional thing. It's like we've all got a responsibility, haven't we?
Do you fancy doing wellbeing or not?
Yeah. You're going to do it today. But are you seeing managers and other people start to take more of an active lead of it, rather than it just always kind of be the business or yourself pushing it forward as well?
It's not been easy. It's been a very slow kind of rollout. There's managers that are sort of all over it and just really, really good at it, and then there's managers that maybe are not so good, but they're learning to be better at it. And I think that's what's important. And they see other managers doing things, and it makes them think, actually, kind of, I'm falling behind here, and so they're doing it because they realise that actually there's a need to do it. And you only have to look at the world outside. It's all about wellbeing. People are, constantly coming forward about their kind of, mental health, and people are being, talking openly. Owen Farrell, I know you're a rugby fan yourself. Owen Farrell,
he's took a step down from just England.
From Six Nations to 2024. A rugby fan too, as you know. But being very open. Somebody like Owen Farrell. I
just want time with my family. I want a break.
I need to. Exactly. And I think because people are so open about talking about that kind of stuff, it kind of makes it all more acceptable for people to be open about how they're feeling.
Definitely. And I guess just building on that, I guess it's not doing something like ridiculous, is it? As well with wellbeing, it's not being like, I've got to be there and help someone through this and be a counsellor or anything, or nothing like that. It can be something really small.
Yeah, and I think sometimes that's what has put managers off, actually, because they think, oh gosh, well, if I ask questions, I'm going to get, I'm going to get embroiled in somebody's kind of, whatever dramas are going on in their life or whatever they're struggling with. But actually, all it is for managers is just recognising that somebody's struggling, and there's some really obvious signs and symptoms that tell you someone is struggling. Whether it's kind of, they're a bit more withdrawn, or they're just not, the bubbly person they normally are, or they just don't look quite the way they are. They kind of don't take part in social activities, or they've lost their confidence, all those kind of things. It just needs a conversation. I've noticed you're not yourself lately. It's simple. And then we're not expecting anyone to be a counsellor, but we are expecting people to signpost them to support, and the wellbeing site is just got everything on there. So even just a quick conversation and just give them the QR code to the site, that's a big tick.
Yeah, massively. Yeah. What would you say your, like, maybe not number one, but a couple of top things would be just in wellbeing in general? Like if you didn't have resources, or if you didn't have all the resources that we're providing, or if you didn't have like the first aiders or all of that, what kind of things do you think anyone could do just in general?
I think be curious about people.
Okay. Like that.
Yeah, be curious about people. So, if you're a people person and you kind of know how people are, you'll know when they're not themselves. Just ask the question, just to open up and start a conversation, I think is really important. If there's one thing you can be in the world, be kind.
Nice.
And just be true to yourself. So if you are struggling or need help yourself, you just need to speak to someone. You just need to shout out about it and ask for help.
Yeah, nice.
So them are 3 things.
Yeah. No,
I could do more than that, but
that's good. That's really good.
That's
really good. What kind of is there anything you do to like make sure like you keep your well-being in check? Because I guess if you're thinking about everyone else's well-being, you've kind of got to go, oh, hang on a minute. I better am I all right as well?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I sometimes get overwhelmed with things. No, I'm not talking about work necessarily, but just things, overwhelmed with things.
Life.
Just life. I've got a busy life like we all have.
Yeah.
But I always make sure that I do something active. So I play tennis, and that's my escape.
Physically and mentally.
Yeah. When I'm playing tennis, when I'm doing that, I just forget everything else, and then I come back and I feel better. I've got 2 boys, and they always say to me, "Oh, for God's sake, Mum, just go for a run," because they can tell if I'm getting a little bit. I just say go for it because they know, and that's really good because they're picking up the signs as well.
Yeah, that is good actually.
They just know if I need to kind of go and do something.
De-stress.
Yeah. But they also, I mean, they do kind of make fun of me a little bit for what I do. So I talked to them about the one of the things that we promote is the 2 OK rule. So you ask someone the first time, if you were thinking someone was struggling, you say, are you okay? And they go, yeah, I'm fine. So always ask a second time, but are you okay? Because people are more likely to kind of say if they're not, if you ask them a second time. So I was telling the boys about it. So sometimes I'll sit at the table in the evening, they'll say, we're just having dinner, and they'll say, are you okay? And I go, yeah. And they go, but are you okay? I was like, no,
wow.
I think I'm not sure whether you're really concerned or you're just actually taking the mickey out of me. I'm not sure.
Right. No, they've got to have picked some things up, surely.
Yeah.
And it's good, even if they are, joking with you at first.
Yeah.
It still might open the door to you to
exactly.
be like, what,
actually,
I'm not feeling too good, or I do need to go for a run. So
they're good. They pick up quite a lot of the stuff from work. I mean, both of them could probably name the 48 symptoms of menopause. Just saying.
I imagine you've just got them like as wallpaper somewhere in your house, Claire. Yeah, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's great, and I think everything you do is brilliant with wellbeing. So keep pushing it, because it's something that everyone at Next needs.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thanks.